Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, so if you're serious about making writing your profession, well, the tricky part often isn't just the writing itself, it's the whole business of getting published.
Hmm.
Today, we're really trying to cut through some of that noise. We're drawing a lot from the insights of Angela Hunt. I mean, she's published over 165 books, so she knows the landscape.
Yeah, she definitely does. And our goal for you listening is really precision. We want to take these, sometimes complex industry things, proposals, market trends, and just boil them down into clear steps you can actually take.
Like a blueprint.
Exactly, a blueprint to help you move from, let's say, aspiring writer to really being a working author.
Okay, blueprint sounds good. But before we dive into that, let's do our word of the week. Today it is compunction.
Compunction. Okay, so this is like remorse or regret for doing something wrong, but, and this is the key bit, it's less severe than actual deep remorse.
So like a lighter version.
Yeah, think of it as that little hesitation, that flicker of guilt. The source had a great analogy.
Mhm.
You feel deep remorse for a big moral failing,
Right.
right? But you feel compunction, maybe, when you eat that entire slice of chocolate cake.
Ah, okay, that fleeting, oops, maybe I shouldn't have feeling.
Exactly. That little pang.
Oh.
It's temporary.
Got it. That's a useful distinction. All right, let's unpack this business blueprint now, starting with hurdle number 1, the query letter.
Right, the gate opener.
The absolute gate opener, and the goal here is super specific. Just make the agent or editor ask for your proposal. That's it.
Nothing else, and it has to be short, like really short, max 1 page.
1 page.
Wow. Yeah, because think about it. These editors, these agents, they're just swimming in submissions. So that structure is key. First paragraph. Introduce the project, nail the genre, give them a hook that makes them sit up immediately.
And then paragraph 2 is all business, right? Your writing experience, any previous publications.
And you have to mention if you self-published, be upfront about it. And crucially, your platform.
Platform meaning your audience.
Exactly, your audience. How many followers on social media? Do you have a blog with decent readership? Maybe you lead a big group or have a local radio spot. Anything that shows you can help sell the book. You need to show you bring readers.
Okay. And the rule for submitting for a book, you offer the proposal. You don't send it yet.
Right, you offer. But for an article, you generally offer the full article itself.
So that kind of defines the path, doesn't it? Query gets the proposal request, proposal gets the manuscript request, manuscript gets the contract.
That's the chain, which leads us straight into the proposal. This is, as our source puts it, the major leagues.
The major leagues, I like that analogy, compared to self-publishing being the minor leagues.
Sorta, yeah. Unless your book is for a really, really specific niche that traditional publishing just wouldn't touch. But otherwise, yeah, traditional publishing is still seen as the goal for reaching a wider audience, for scaling up.
Okay, so crafting that winning proposal. Step 1 is the cover letter. Needs to be professional, confident.
Confident, yes, but definitely not cocky or arrogant. Big difference. And absolutely do not claim your book is going to be a bestseller.
Or that God told you to write it.
Please don't say that. Don't spend time gushing about how great your own writing is. Let the samples do the talking.
Okay. Next up, the outline for nonfiction or the synopsis for fiction. And for fiction, this is tough. 1 page only.
1 page. Single-spaced, usually. And you have to give away the ending. Beginning, middle, and end. No mysteries for the editor. They need to know you actually have a complete story arc planned out.
No cliffhangers for them.
Nope. For nonfiction, it's a detailed outline. Chapter by chapter, what's in each one, and mention any extras you plan, like an index, footnotes, maps, whatever, shows you've thought it through.
Now, this next part feels really crucial, especially if you're new. The marketing overview. This is where you switch hats from artist to business partner.
Absolutely. This is pure business. You need to look at similar books already out there.
Yeah.
How is yours different? But also, crucially, how does it still appeal to the same readers who bought those other books?
Finding that sweet spot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you also need to explain your passion. Why this book? Why are you the person to write it? What's your personal connection? Then define the ideal reader. And you can't just say everyone.
No, everyone. Be specific.
Super specific. Is it for, men aged 40, 55 who love historical fiction? Is it for grandparents looking for picture books? New moms needing advice? Who exactly is going to buy this?
And platform again, numbers, stats, networks, leadership roles. anything that shows you can connect with those ideal readers.
It's all about demonstrating your market access.
Then you add previous credits, any reviews you have, and finally the sample chapters, usually the first 3.
Generally, yeah, the first 3 chapters. But here's a really critical point from our source. Do not hire an outside editor to polish just these samples.
Oh, really? Why not? Wouldn't you want them to look absolutely perfect?
You'd think so, but no. The agent or editor needs to see your actual writing voice, your raw skill level. If those first 3 chapters are heavily edited by someone else, you're essentially misrepresenting your ability.
Ah, okay. So if they love the sample and ask for the full manuscript.
And the rest of the book doesn't match that initial polished quality, well, you've basically wasted everyone's time, including your own. It comes across as dishonest, even if unintentionally. They need to see what you can do.
That makes total sense. It's about setting realistic expectations. Okay, so to make sure your work looks professional, you follow the mandatory formatting rules.
Yes, these are non-negotiables. Everything in one single Word document, double-spaced. Use a standard font like Garamond or Times New Roman, 11 or 12 point, 1-inch margins on the sides and bottom.
Wait, I noticed something specific in the source, 1.5 inches for the top margin. Why the difference?
Good catch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's often a standard for print submissions, or at least it mimics it. That extra ½ inch gives space at the top. Maybe for the editor to jot notes, or it just reflects how a physical page would look with binding considerations.
So it shows, the old school conventions too.
Kind of, yeah. It just looks professional. And don't forget the final bit. Surname and page number in the upper right corner of every single page.
Got it. Meticulous details matter.
They really do. It signals seriousness. Okay, let's shift gears a bit from the business side to the actual craft, the writing itself. Let's talk about sentiment versus sentimentality.
Well, this is a big one. Sentimentality is the cliche, right? The predictable, easy, emotional grab.
Exactly. It's red roses on Valentine's Day. Expected. True sentiment, though, that digs deeper. It finds new ways to show emotion, often relies on subtext, and genuinely develops the characters in a unique way.
Okay, give me an example. The source mentioned a TV show, Alias.
Yeah, Alias.
Yeah.
Great example of using subtext for sentiment. There's this scene, the character Vaughn shows Sydney his watch. He reveals, kind of quietly, that it stopped working on the very day they first met.
Okay, so the sentimental reaction would be tears, a big speech.
Right. But instead, Sydney, the character, just looks at his watch, then she lifts her own sleeve slightly, revealing her own watch, and simply says, "Me too." See? It's unexpected. It's that shared, unspoken understanding that carries way more emotional weight because it wasn't the cliche response. It relies on their history, on what's not being said explicitly.
Okay, I get that. And in a novel, the source used a gift example.
Right. Instead of the predictable chocolates, the hero does some research. Finds out the heroine's favorite place is, say, Clearwater Beach. So he actually gets some white sand shipped from there, puts in a little toy bucket with a shovel, and leaves it on her doorstep with a plane ticket to Clearwater.
That takes effort. Thought.
Exactly. It demonstrates what the source calls true sacrificial love through that specific tailored effort. That's sentiment, not sentimentality.
That level of care, that uniqueness, it should probably apply to how you approach your genre too, right? Let's talk about the Tolkien lesson.
Ah, yes. J.R.R. Tolkien. Back in the 1920s, he was an Oxford academic, highly respected. But his peers, other academics, they looked down on his fantasy writing.
They thought hobbits and elves were, what, trifling? Not serious literature.
Pretty much, yeah. Less than worthy literature was the kind of attitude he faced.
Yeah.
He got real criticism for it. And C.S. Lewis was apparently a huge source of encouragement for him.
So the lesson is?
The lesson is, write what you're passionate about, whatever the genre. Fantasy, romance, Christian fiction, westerns. Genres that sometimes get dismissed by certain literary circles. Write it with excellence, write it with passion, because there is a dedicated, hungry audience out there for it.
Yeah.
Don't let snobbery deter you. Feed those readers.
Write it well, no matter what it is. Okay, let's quickly cover some technical benchmarks. Word counts.
Well, these are guidelines. Obviously, there are exceptions. But generally, adult novel, maybe 80,000 to 100,000 words. A novella, much shorter, 25K to 30K. Some short novels or series romances might be around 50,000.
And the content test for editing.
Super simple, but brutal. If a scene or even a whole chapter doesn't either move the plot forward or deepen our understanding of a character, it has to go.
Cut it out, even if you love it.
Even if it hurts. And here's a great practical self-editing tip. Use search and replace.
Okay. For what?
To find your pet words or weasel words, you know, those words you lean on too much, like just or really or suddenly or that. searched for the word like just and replaced every instance with just in all caps.
Whoa. So then when you reread,
Exactly. Every single just will scream at you from the page. It forces you to notice the overuse and decide if it's really necessary each time. It's a great trick.
I like that. Okay, shifting back to the market for a second. What's hot right now, according to recent conferences, particularly in the Christian market?
Well, reports suggest things like sweet reads, maybe with a touch of magic, are doing well. Also, stories that present truth but aren't, overly preachy or didactic.
And clean reads. That seems like a growing trend.
Huge trend. New imprints are popping up specifically for clean reads, meaning no graphic violence, sex, or strong language. And these aren't just for Christian audiences. It's for anyone, secular or religious, who just prefers stories without those elements.
Interesting. And the easiest entry point for new writers?
Often, it's writing for Harlequin's love-inspired or love-inspired suspense lines. They have very specific requirements, usually around 55,000 words, which can be less daunting than a full 100K novel.
And how are editors describing the overall market feel right now?
The words that came up were dynamic ones: transitioning, grit, evolving, even exciting and gorgeous. So lots of change, maybe some challenges, but also opportunity.
Okay. Now, what about advice for brand new writers? We mentioned Jerry Jenkins.
Yeah.
He has some counterintuitive advice.
He does. He essentially says, don't start with trying to write a book. A book is often where you arrive after building skills and credibility.
Huh. That is a big mindset shift. So start smaller.
Exactly. Write articles, start a blog, get some shorter pieces published, learn the business side through those smaller steps first. Work with a professional editor on an article or short story to hone your craft, get rid of cliches, and build a track record before you even think about tackling a full book proposal.
Build your way up. Okay. And while you're building, you need to watch out for traps, scams.
Oh, definitely. Especially now with AI. There's a common AI scam email. It'll sound incredibly complimentary about your book, maybe pulling details from your Amazon description to sound informed.
Flattery.
Right, lots of flattery. But it always ends with a sales pitch. They want you to pay for some bogus marketing service or award. It's just flattery with a hidden motive. Delete them.
And the book club scam.
Similar idea. You get an email saying a book club wants to feature your book. Sounds amazing, right?
What?
But then comes the catch. You, the author, have to pay for this exposure.
Red flag.
Huge red flag. Never, ever pay for book club exposure. Real book clubs don't charge authors.
Okay, good warnings. On a more positive note, for self-published authors, there's a new tool, Forced Edges.
Yeah, this is specifically for the Vellum software, which is Mac only, unfortunately. But Forced Edges lets self-publishers add decorative designs or colors to the actual edges of the book's pages.
Like those fancy sprayed edges you see on special editions.
Exactly like that. It's a way to make self-published physical books look much more premium and professional. A nice innovation.
Cool. Okay, let's zoom back in on the fine details, because you mentioned professionalism is judged harshly here. Punctuation.
Oh, absolutely. Our sources are clear. Agents and editors often use your command of basic punctuation as a quick first test. If you can't handle commas and apostrophes, it suggests you might not have the discipline needed for the bigger picture.
So let's review some rules. The evolving comma rule. A comma before and, but for nor only if.
Only if it joins two independent clauses, two complete sentences that could stand on their own.
Right. So I wanted to go but couldn't. No comma needed because couldn't isn't a full sentence on its own.
Correct. But I wanted to go, but George refused. Comma needed because George refused is an independent clause.
Okay. And we must use the Oxford comma, the comma before the final and in a list.
Please, yes. Even if some style guides are wishy-washy, it prevents ambiguity. You avoid writing things like, I'd like to thank my parents, the Pope and Mother Teresa.
Which implies your parents are the Pope and Mother Teresa.
Exactly. You need that final comma. My parents, the Pope, and Mother Teresa. And always use a comma after directly addressing someone. Time to eat grandma, not time to eat grandma. Very different meanings.
Definitely want that comma. Okay, the semicolon. Tricky one.
It joins two complete sentences that are very closely related in thought. Our source mentioned it's debated in fiction circles, sometimes seen as too formal, but occasionally accepted if it clearly serves the rhythm of dialogue or narration.
And there was an anecdote about a murder mystery.
Yes, a great illustration. An author wrote something like, the victim was strangled, the killer wore gloves and fled. That semicolon links the strangulation directly to the gloved killer.
Okay.
But an editor apparently misread it and wanted two separate sentences, which would break that immediate implied connection shown by the semicolon. That tiny punctuation mark was crucial to linking the cause of death to the killer's specific action.
Wow, okay. It signals a strong relationship between the two clauses.
Precisely. A period creates separation. A semicolon creates connection. Then you have ellipses, space dots, space dot, space dot, space dot.
Indicating missing words in nonfiction or a pause or trailing off in fiction dialogue.
Right. And lastly, just review those apostrophe rules for possessives, especially names ending in S, like Jesus's or Moses's needing just the apostrophe, but maybe Judas is needing apostrophe. And plural possessives like the disciples' fishing nets. Those details matter.
All this meticulousness, it ties into the last discipline we looked at, writing poetry.
It does, surprisingly. Poetry, as defined by Betty O'Hearn, uses rhythmic, symbolic language. The discipline comes in the economy it demands.
Coleridge's famous line, poetry is the best words in the best order.
Exactly. Writing poetry forces you to be incredibly precise and concise. That exercise makes you a stronger writer of prose, no matter your genre. It sharpens your word choices.
And a quick warning about quoting poetry.
Yeah, copyright is tricky with poetry because poems are often short. Fair use is usually percentage-based. Quoting an entire short poem is almost certainly not fair use. You'll likely need permission and maybe have to pay a fee.
So often easier just to write your own short verse if needed.
Often, yes. Simpler and cheaper.
Okay, we have covered a ton of ground today. From the nitty-gritty of the proposal checklist and the whole marketing angle to avoiding sentimentality and drilling down into punctuation precision.
Yeah, and I think the big theme running through it all from all the sources is really about commitment, persistence, hard work. That quote from David really resonates. I will not offer to the Lord that which cost me nothing.
Meaningful work takes effort.
It does. Writing professionally is demanding, it's difficult, but it's also incredibly satisfying when you approach it with that level of dedication and excellence.
Which brings us perfectly to our final thought for you, the listener. Think back to that Tolkien lesson. Think about the advice to write what you're passionate about, but to do it with absolute excellence. So the question is, what maybe unpopular or sometimes criticized genre are you drawn to explore? And how are you going to commit to bringing uncompromising quality to it?
Making that pursuit of quality habitual, ingrained, which leads us right into our final word of the week. Inveterate.
Inveterate, meaning habitual, deeply rooted, long established. We hope this deep dive helps you cultivate the habits to become an inveterate professional writer.
Turning that dedication into a career. Until next time.